All right, thank you guys. We are back on the balcony cam. And anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Talking about the Kiwoom Heroes taking on the Doosan Bears. That's going to be a 5:30 a.m. Eastern first pitch. Doosan's minus a buck and a quarter. Totals 10.5, juice to the over. Kiwoom's the minus 105 underdog. And if you like the Heroes to cover, they're minus 200, catching the 1.5. And following Monday's sports wagering action, I improved to 5-0 in my last 5 extra daily pick tier package plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. And of course, that's a website where I sell sports pick subscriptions beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. If you want some more information on how you can get access to those sports picks, the link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Heroes lost 6-1 earlier this morning to the Bears. Kiwoom's really struggled as of late, dropping 4 out of their last 5 ball games. That includes 2 losses to the 9th place Wyverns, and they actually gave up 12 runs to the Wyverns in one of those losses. Kiwoom gave up 31 total runs in their last 4 losses as well. Their 3-7 record in their last 10 is good for just 30% during that span. They are taking on a Doosan squad who's currently 13 games above 500, and they have a win percentage of 600 on the dot. They're currently on a 3-game winning streak, along with winning 5 out of their last 6 as well. They gave up just 1.8 runs per contest on average in those 5 victories. The Bears are currently in second place in the 10-team KBO, and they find themselves only 4 wins worse than the first place Dinos. So really right in the mix, right in striking distance. The Bears haven't lost a series in their last 5 straight series. And when it comes to the total in this one, we are looking at a Bears squad who saw 5 out of their last 6 stay under the total of 10.5 runs. 7 out of their last 10 also stayed under that number. Meanwhile, on the Kiwoom side, their last 3 straight stayed under the 10.5 themselves. Meanwhile, 5 out of their last 7 also stayed under that number. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Doosan Bears minus a buck and a quarter and the under 10.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and dive into some more free content here on YouTube, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. I want to welcome you to the balcony cam. And we got some lines and personal leans out for tomorrow's KBO baseball action, for Wednesday's KBO baseball action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just have to quickly remind you once again that after Monday's sports wagering action, after yesterday's action, we improved to 5-0 in our last 5 extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 10-2 in our last 12 package selections in that same category as well. If you want some more information on how you can join in on the action, the link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Kia Tigers versus the Hanwha Eagles, 5:30 a.m. East. Now, the Tigers are minus 225. No real surprise there. Total's 8.5. The Eagles are plus 165 to win it. If you like Hanwha to keep this one close, they are catching even money on the run line. Now, Hanwha got decimated earlier this morning by the Tigers. Final on that one was 10-2. The Eagles are currently on a 5-game losing streak, and they average just 1.2 runs per contest during that stretch. The Eagles have officially dropped to 32 games below 500, and they're currently 5 games behind the 9th place squad. Excuse me. Now, Hanwha's also lost 9 out of their last 10 series. Their 17-49 record on the season is good for a win percentage of just .258. Now, the Tigers, on the other side, they've won 2 out of their last 4 themselves, and that includes an impressive 4-2 victory over the second-place Doosan Bears. Kia's giving up just 2.2 runs per contest in their last 4 victories. Now, total-wise, 4 out of Kia's last 7 stayed under the total of 8.5 runs. Meanwhile, 4 out of Hanwha's last 5 stayed under that number themselves. 6 out of their last 9 also stayed under that number. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Kia Tigers minus 1.5 and the under 8.5 in that contest. All right, next matchup, it is going to be the LG Twins taking on the KT Wiz, 5:30 a.m. Eastern first pitch. Now, the Wiz are the $1.50 favorite, totals 8.5. The Twins are the plus 115 underdog. And if you like LG to cover, they're minus 175, catching the 1.5. Now, the Twins won 3 out of their last 4, and they gave up just 3 total runs in those victories. LG is just 5 games behind the second-place Doosan Bears in the standings. They are taking on a Wiz team who's won just 2 out of their last 6 contests, and that includes a 7-3 loss to the last-place Hanwha Eagles. Very embarrassing. The Wiz averaged just 2 runs per contest in those 3 losses. They're also just 2 wins better than the 8th-place Lotte Giants in the standings. Now, total-wise, 3 out of the Wiz last 5 stayed under the total of 8.5 runs. Meanwhile, on the other side, 3 out of the Twins' last 4 stayed under that number themselves. So with all that in mind, give me the underdog LG Twins plus $1.15 and the under 8.5 in that contest. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be the Samsung Lions taking on the NC Dinos, 5:30 a.m. Eastern start time. The Dinos are minus 285, totals 9.5. The Lions are the plus 210 underdog, and if you like the Lions to cover, they're catching even money on the run line. The Lions lost 6-5 earlier this morning to the Dinos. They are currently on a 2-game losing streak, including a 2-1 loss to the 8th-place Lotte Giants. They're taking on a first-place Dino squad who hasn't lost a match in their last 5 straight. They gave up just 2.4 runs per contest during that span. The Dinos are officially 24 games above 500, and they have a win percentage of .694, nearly 700 thus far in the season. They also won 8 out of their last 9 series. Now, total-wise, 4 out of the Dinos' last 6 got over the total of 9.5 runs. Meanwhile, 3 out of the Lions' last 5 got over that number themselves. So with all that in mind, give me the Dinos minus 1.5 and the over 9.5 in that game. And with that, we're going to slide into our next and final matchup of the show. It is going to be the Lotte Giants versus the SK Wyverns, 5:30 a.m. Eastern start time. The Wyverns are minus 140, totals 10.5 flat. The Giants are plus 105 to win it. If you like Lotte to cover, they're minus 188, catching the 1.5. The Giants lost just 1 out of their last 4 series, and they posted victories in 4 out of their last 8. They beat the likes of Samsung, LG, and the second-place Doosan Bears during that span. As a matter of fact, they scored 27 total runs in those 4 victories. They are taking on a Wyverns squad who's currently 22 games below 500 right now. Ironically, check this out. They have 22 wins, 44 losses, and a .333 win percentage. Weird. The Wyverns averages 1.7 runs per contest in their last 4 losses. They also dropped 3 out of their last 4 series. And with regard to the standings, the Wyverns are currently in 9th place and just 5 games ahead of the last place Eagles in the KBO. Now, total-wise, 2 out of SK's last 3 stayed under the total of 10.5 runs. 6 out of their last 9 also stayed under that number. Meanwhile, on the Lotte side, 2 out of their last 3 stayed under the 10.5 themselves. So with all that in mind, give me the underdog Giants plus $1.05 to win it and the under 10.5 in that contest. And with that said, we are going to go ahead and dive into some shout-outs from our Patreon platform. Shout out to Stephen Hines, PJ Desimone, Roger Montgomery, Raj Kamal, Delvin Whitehead, Derek Pate, Charlie Haight, Jared Bender, Randy Asuma, and Stephen Mann. Next from our Instagram platform, shout out to Dave Cantner, Little Baby X8, Will Slade, Mark Wise Manning, Alan Ruda, Tim Vermerson, Frank Cujo, Luca Rosano, Argon Fitz, and Alex Shire. And then finally from our YouTube platform, shout out to SOP Striker, Trevor Hawkins, Mohammed Jama, Brandon Saunders, Martin Dean, Scott Kaler, Melissa Hallwang, Anthony Otaye, Marty Foster, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Calico Jones. Always great to see Calico Jones in the comment section below. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to, pull the trigger on a package, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you decide to get a package today, we're going to bill you today, and then we'll bill you again on the 1st of August. And then following that, you'll get billed on the 1st of every month, just the way Patreon does it. So just wanted to give you a heads up. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information from up top, from the balcony. And with all that said and done, happy Tuesday or Wednesday too, depending on when you're watching this. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.